please welcome Ronnie Lee.
Hi everyone, it's great to see you all here. What a great event, great march. It's good to see leaflets being given out to members of the public. It's so important to use these events for outreach, for vegan outreach. That's absolutely vital. The first thing I'd like to do though is to encourage you to give a big round of applause to the people who've organised this, James and Joy and all the others involved in organising it. Because organisers play a vital part in our movement. Nothing happens by magic. It happens because people organise it, either in a small way or in a large way. So organisers are a vital part of our movement, and we need to recognise this. Now, the Declaration of Animal Rights, what I like about the Declaration of Animal Rights is it affirms that our fellow animals already have rights. They already have intrinsic rights not to be exploited and oppressed by humans. They already have those rights. The problem is that those rights are not widely respected, are not properly respected. They're not recognised in law and they're not enforced by law. That's the problem we face, and that's what we've got to change. But that's so difficult, isn't it, in terms of the law, when we've got governments like the ones we've had forever. Because these governments, these administrations are comprised of people, by and large, most politicians are speciesists, they're human supremacists. You know, they're not going to pass measures that ensure any real liberation for our fellow animals. If you look, what have we ever got for other animals from governments in the UK? Well, we've got a hunting ban, a so-called hunting ban, that is really weak. It's full of loopholes, and it's not properly enforced. And we've got a ban on fur farms. Ban on fur farms, but fur is still allowed to be imported into this country and sold. I can't really think of anything else we've got. All the decades of campaigning by people, that's all we've got. So something's wrong. And I think, maybe something's basically wrong in how we're approaching it. Because the only way that we're going to get an administration that properly recognises and enforces the rights of our fellow animals is for people like us to be that administration. We need to be the ones in charge. If we're not in charge, it's the speciesists who'll be in charge and the human supremacists who'll be in charge. And we've got to look at it that way. How do we create a situation where we run the show? Because until we run the show, we'll never get animal liberation. But we need to look at, well, why have we had, all the governments we've had throughout the years who've done so little to protect our fellow animals? Well, they haven't come down from the sky. They're not here by magic. They were voted in by ordinary people. So unless we basically change the mindset of really a large number of ordinary people, we're always going to get governments that will deny the rights of other animals, that will refuse to bring in measures to ensure animal liberation. And so we have to have a huge effort throughout our community to change the mindset of ordinary people, to change the way ordinary people view our other animals. And the way we do that is through vegan education, through vegan outreach. We have to have widespread vegan education as much as possible in many places as possible, because that's the only way we're ever going to change ordinary people. And if we change it, the more vegans we create, the more vegan politicians we'll have, because some of those people will want to become politicians, and the more vegans will have to vote those politicians into office. And that's real system change. That's real system change. Isn't trying to put pressure on the existing system to make concessions, because all they've ever made is tiny concessions towards the proper protection of our fellow animals. Proper system change is having different people in control of the system, people like us. And the only way we do that is to educate a lot more people to become vegan. And we don't have to educate everyone. I think a large minority is enough. If we look at the last election in this country, the Labour government was elected by just 20% of the electorate. Just 20% of people eligible to vote voted Labour. In the USA, Donald Trump, that was 30%. Just 30% of people eligible to voted for Donald Trump. So we don't need a majority. We just need a reasonable minority. So it's not everyone. So it's not as difficult a task as some people might think. Yeah, I mean, it's still a difficult task. But what we have to remember as well with vegan outreach, it's not just what we might achieve in the long term through totally changing the system. It's what we achieve in the short term as well. Because for every person that becomes vegan, that reduces the demand for our fellow animals to be slaughtered, to be reared or to be caught for food and to be slaughtered by almost 100 per year. Every person who becomes vegan, that reduces that demand by almost 100 animals a year. So in the short term, we're sparing all animals all the time through vegan education. In the long term, it's the only chance we've got of actually getting the proper recognition of animal rights. It's the only chance we've got. We've got to change ordinary people. And that's why I say to everyone today, now everyone here today, everyone's an activist, and that's brilliant. But what I'd say to everyone who's an activist, look at how you can do more to encourage vegan outreach, incorporate it into your activism, or maybe look at how you can do vegan outreach in your own local area, in addition to kind of gathering with people in the centre of big cities to do it, for instance. And I know this speech is being recorded. I'm very pleased it's being recorded, because this is a message as well to all the vegans that aren't here, and all the vegans that aren't at any of the NARD events anywhere, and all the vegans that never do anything active, that if you really care about animal liberation, that's the reason you're vegan, because that's the only reason anyone can be vegan. It's a philosophy of animal liberation. That's veganism. It's a philosophy that's opposed to the exploitation, oppression of our fellow animals. That's veganism. Anyone that subscribes to that, if they want that to be realised, if they want us to have a society where that's realised, then they have to become active. And the big problem we've got is we've got the vast majority of vegans are not active in spreading the vegan message, and that has to change. And so we need this widespread effort all across the board to educate other people to become vegan. And if we have enough vegan outreach, frequently enough, in enough places, I believe we'll achieve a situation where animal rights are properly recognised, where animal rights are properly enforced, and where we can achieve animal liberation. Thank you.